how to get to £100,000 in 6 months or less. It does, as I said, sound like clickbait to a certain extent, but there's real background to this, isn't there? So what are the key steps that we've got to go through when it comes to maybe getting ourselves in the right mental position to go forward and to achieve figures like that? And is that achievable for any business?
I think so, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't it be? And maybe there's some sort of micro business, that they work in a little village in, Hampshire, and they don't really want to work for anybody outside that village cutting grass. They maybe won't get to 100 grand doing that. But, anybody who wants to do that, I really do believe they have the capability of doing that, yes.
It's all going to be down to sales conversion rate, isn't it? When somebody comes in, a warm lead comes in, is actually doing something with it. Where do we start with that?
Well, I think it starts by really understanding the maths behind it, the key numbers.
That's interesting. We were talking to Rupert Honeywood on a previous programme, and he too was saying we need to understand our numbers. What do you mean by that? Is it our turnover numbers we're talking about? Is it how much is in our bank account? What numbers are you talking about?
Well, the first one I'd say is what's your average unit of sale? If you sell on average something for £1,000 or for £100, you know what you've got to do to get 100,000. You need to sell 100 lots of 1,000 or 1,000 lots of 100. If you sell something for £100 and you want to get to 100,000, you just need to sell 1,000 of them in the year. And it's just break that down into 52 weeks, and you know how many sales you need to make per day in order to hit that 100,000 mark, and then measure it along the way. The last thing you want to do, and this is one of the mistakes that I see so often in business, is they get to the end of the quarter or the year and they go, well, I've not done very well. And why haven't you done very well? Because I've not taken the action required. I've not made the calls, I've not sent the emails out, I've not done the posts on LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. So they're basically fail to implement and even fail to measure what's been happening along the way. Do they know how many sales they need to make today in order to hit that 100 grand?
The other figures that people seem to be talking about is the number of calls to the number of appointments to the number of sales or whatever.
Absolutely.
So how do you figure that out? How do you work that out? Because I think a lot of businesses end up concentrating on a sale, individual sale, and they really get obsessed by a sale as opposed to looking, saying, actually there's 100 people that I've spoken to, and perhaps maybe 10% of that 100 is going to be 10 of those is going to be the people who are going to show real interest, and maybe only 2 of those people are who I'm actually going to close.
Yeah, I think it starts at the end and work your way back. So if I've got an average unit of sale of £1,000, so I know I need 100 of those to get to my 100 grand. So I need 100 sales in the next 6 months to achieve that. So I can work out then how many sales that is per week. So in order to achieve that, how many meetings, if that's my structure, that I have a meeting with somebody, how many meetings do I need? So if I needed, let's say, for example, 2 sales per week, and to achieve that I need 5 meetings because I know my conversion rate, and then to achieve that I need 10 leads, and to achieve that I need to do X amount of posts or calls or so on and so forth. So you start with the end in mind and work your way backwards.